Sometimes when examiners want to set a question, they start from the result, they start from the answer and work it back to the question. In this video, we want to look at how quadratic equations are formed. Quadratic equation, you agree with me, usually have two answers. If the question was given in terms of x, you will have either x equals to this or x equals to this. Those two answers are called the roots of the quadratic equation. In this video, we are picking these roots, which are the typical answers we are going to get from a quadratic equation. And we want to work our way from these answers back to the quadratic equation. In other words, we want to form a quadratic equation with these given roots. So the roots are x equals the negative 3 over 2 or x equals 3. These are the answers we will get from the quadratic equation. Now we know the answer, let us work our way back to the question that will give rise to this answer, which is what some examiners do. They get the answers they want and work their way back to the question. So let us get the quadratic equation that has produced these roots. Remember, these answers were just picked arbitrarily. Depending on what you want, you can pick any answer and work your way back to the quadratic equation. Now, quadratic equations have roots, and these are the roots. These roots form the factors that make up that quadratic equation. And because a quadratic equation is always equal to 0, it means the factors that make that equation, the two factors, either one of them is 0 or the other is 0. So, either we are going to make this equation to be equal to 0 or we make this equation to be equal to 0. Since either of them can be equal to 0, we are going to make both of them equal to 0. Starting with this, let's cross multiply. 2 times x will give us 2x, and that will be equal to negative 3. Because we want to get 0 from here, it means we need to move this negative 3 to the left-hand side by adding 3 to both sides of the equation. And that gives us 2x plus 3 equals 0. For this, we can simply move 1 to the left-hand side by subtracting 1 from both sides of the equation, so that x minus 1 equals 0. Now, these are the factors of the quadratic equation, 2x plus 3 and x minus 1. But since either of them is equal to 0, it means the product of these factors must be equal to 0. So if we take the factors, 2x plus 3 times x minus 1, it must give us 0 because one or both of them is equal to 0. Expanding this, we have that 2x times x gives us 2x squared. 2x times negative 1 gives us negative 2x. 3 times x gives us positive 3x. And 3 times negative 1 gives us negative 3. And of course, it's equal to 0. So that we have negative 2x plus 3x is of course positive x. And that gives us 2x squared plus x representing negative 2x plus 3x minus 3 equals 0. So this is the quadratic equation that gave rise to these results. So we just worked our way back. So if you are given roots of a quadratic equation, you can actually get the quadratic equation that produced those roots. And it is very simple. Another way to do it is to use this simple formula. X squared minus sum of root x plus product of roots. Just add up these roots to give you the sum, and then multiply by x, plus find the product and put it here. This will also give you the quadratic equation, right? If you understood this, then try this simple one. Form a quadratic equation whose roots are negative 3 and negative 1 over 2. Please put your answer in the comment section. Thank you for watching and hope to see you in our next video.